Today, I'm reviewing one of the most underrated and fun sets I've ever built. And then I'm going to motorize it. The LEGO Friends Beach Amusement Park. LEGO Friends is one of my favorite themes, and they have some really unique sets and really unique color usage in a lot of their builds. One of my other favorite themes is the Fairground Amusement Park sets from Icons in the 3-in-1 Creator line. This set is a combination of the best of both worlds. The LEGO Friends Beach Amusement Park, set 41737, with 1,348 pieces, released in June 2023. It's one of the most ingenious, fun builds I've ever had the joy of making. And that's just while you're building it, not even getting to the play part afterwards. So this is the box, and as you can see, it's super bright and colorful, on par with the Friends sets, really fun and vibrant and alive. It shows off some really interesting features. This thing moves. It's not like your traditional Friends sets. They've actually got some pretty serious technique functions in here. And it's built into the base of the set. At $120 and almost 1,400 pieces, it's a pretty substantial set, and it's quite large. Even when you finish building it, it's a pretty good display piece. So let's take a look. I haven't changed much. I do remixes and change up sets quite a bit. With this one, all I did was change out the mini dolls for minifigures because, you know, minifigures are better than mini dolls. We all know that. Don't come at me in the comments. This set comes with 4 mini dolls. I've replaced them with minifigures, doing all of the activities in the amusement park. Really fun to be able to add my own figures in here, having a great time themed with the beach feel. This is such a colorful and vibrant set with rainbow staircases and different characters and palm trees. And the sand hides all of the technique functions that are happening underneath. And what's really cool about the way this is built is that it's built in stages where you're building each of the 3 main activities one at a time. So as you're going, the build is getting more complex, the scene is getting more complex, and the usage of the functions, the motion, is getting more complex. So it was really exciting as a build to see it progress and grow as you continue on. You've got a small juice bar ticket booth hybrid right here that's really adorable and cute and really economical in the part usage. You have the Fun Bay sign over the entrance with a entrance turnstile for people coming into the park. You've got the colorful steps that take you up to the ride and the fence that you wait behind to get on the ride. And you've got a fantastic boardwalk that's really simple but really elegant in how it represents a boardwalk over the water in 2 tones with the sand sloping off into the water. And you've got a sense of motion with some of these trans blue bricks kind of washing up on the sand to give it a sense of the waves crashing in. You've got a cute little palm tree here using these new palm tree pieces. And some steel girders for the supports for the speakers on the surfing station. The boardwalk is a super simple but effective build to give the feel of a boardwalk, and it has studs on here so that you can place characters at different points. This build has a really complex and intricate series of technique pins and rods underneath that connect all of the moving functions to one gear that's found in the back. As you build it, it reveals itself slowly, starting with the surfing station, then moving on to the water gun game, and then finally with the big ride at the top. And this is such a fun build when you're done, and you crank that wheel, and you've got all of the things going at the same time. It's just so satisfying and so smooth to get to really see all of the different activities happening at the same time. First, you start with the virtual surfing game that's got a surfboard on some constructed waves, and then a big TV screen with speakers connected to the back. It's a really small area, but really effective with just a few stickers to give the effect of somebody surfing on one of those rides. And then there's a camera placed right next to it that is basically showing up on the screen. Then you've got another surfboard here on a sideward mounted fence piece. It's got a great wave action that really makes it look like the character is surfing on this piece right here. Next up, all the way over here on the right, is the water gun game with the giant octopus and then the prizes at the top. So you've got these really clever part usage with bullhorns and roller skates to create octopuses here, and then some little ships with a a couple of pieces to make the water gun that you're playing in the shooting game, and some really neat prizes at the top with the bunny, teddy bear, a Lego Friends set that you can win. This looks like an action figure of sorts, and then a blow-up doggy in that trans green. Not only do the octopus and ships move back and forth, but the ship at the top also sways right and left with the movement functions. A really clever usage. When you're putting it together, it's so simple, and that's what makes it so clever and so interesting, is that with only a few pieces, to be able to have that motion and really feel like one of those games in the arcade where you're trying to aim and hit the target. And the final piece you build is the big centerpiece ride at the top that comes with 3 seats, a turtle carriage, a seahorse, and a dolphin. And it's not set up straight, it's set up with an interesting off-centered angle, so that as you crank, it doesn't just spin, but it tilts on the axis to present a different one of the characters to the front of the build as it's spinning around. So it's really clever in how it's put together. Also how it's presented to make it even more interesting than just a simple spin ride that we've seen in some of the past sets. Having it be off-centered really adds to that dynamic motion that makes it just mesmerizing to look at as it goes around and around. I could do that for hours. The whole thing is controlled by a gear unit that is built under the main ride. Down here you've got all the gears and all the technique pins and all the technique bricks and plates and gears to make the ride. And you can peek inside. I love that they put it underwater so that you can see the functions of the ride through it, and really admire the ingenious way that it's all connected. And you can see it from multiple sides of the ride, and then everything is controlled by this gear and little handle here. Spinning this hand crank activates not only the main ride, but the surfing station and the octopus water game. So all 3 of the things are controlled by one gear in the back. Super ingenious, and that's all running with pins and rods underneath the sand. It works really remarkably stable and really smoothly with all 3 functions going at the same time, with a simple gear twist. To add some stability, I added a little handle here that I can use to hold the build in place while I'm doing it. It's not part of the set, but it does help with stability. Like sometimes if I'm trying to crank it from this side, I'll hook it up to this side so I have somewhere to hold on to, and then just crank. While this build is really satisfying and cranking it is fun, the only thing that can make that better is motors. So adding a Lego motor, hub, and controller battery pack, I can adjust it to connect, removing the handle and connecting the battery pack and motor to the back. After a bit of trial and error to get this raised up to the right level so that it is on the same level as the ride, was able to mount this all together and make it really nice and stable. Let's put this sideways. Turn the controller on, turn the hub on. Make sure they get paired. They're paired, lights up green. And now I don't have to hand crank. I can motorize the whole thing automatically. Love it. After getting the right size motor and building the pieces to mount it to the right height, I was able to get the motor in there and have it set for perpetual motion, and so that it can continue forever. It's such a satisfying build with so many cool parts and so many interesting features and functions, but it comes together as a really nice cohesive build that looks good on a shelf, would look even better in a fairground or a beach mock. If you've got your own Lego city and you've got a beach area, this is just perfect. Or if you've got an amusement park that you're building, it goes perfect there. It really is such a beautiful, beautiful set that I wouldn't imagine from the Friends line, and here it is. And when you add a couple of motors that I use for a lot of the motorized builds, it just adds a whole nother level of fun. I cannot recommend this set highly enough. It is just about perfect. It's flawless, and I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't change. I haven't changed a thing. The only thing I've added is minifigures. And it's so good, so satisfying. The colors are fantastic. It's so much fun to play with. It's got a great motion functions that look cool in motion, but also look cool as a build. A nice size. It doesn't feel cheap in any regard. All of the builds are really ingenious, using a lot of interesting techniques and interesting colors that we really haven't seen much of before. The animals themselves have such interesting building techniques, especially for the seahorse, with the way it's using like pipes and tubes to create the seahorse neck and the tail in these very interesting shapes. Super clever built for the mini octopus in the game, and just the way the waves are represented all over in the surfing ride and then on the edges of it really comes together as a really great package. I think it's pretty perfect, and it's a great set, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about the Friends line or this set in particular, so that's why I decided to show it some love and, you know, get people to expand the way they're thinking about Lego versus themes, is really looking at the sets independently and taking them for what they're worth and seeing that you can implement a lot of different sets into your city, into your setup, into your build, and sometimes it's just really enjoyable builds that are really clever and get you thinking about different ways to build. And this was definitely one of those sets for me. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed the motorization of the beach amusement park. Stay tuned for more. Please leave a comment down below on what other builds you'd like to see me do reviews for. And give me a like and subscribe. Keep tuning into Rids Bricks. Thank you so much.